After breastfeeding, it is extremely important to choose a right weaning food. And with this, we come to the second episode of our nutrition series, where Dr. Srihari is now going to throw light on what is weaning and why is it important.
Yeah, weaning is food which you start for the baby, which is traditional and substitutable for breast milk. We started somewhere close to 6 months based on the baby's nutrition. And it's very important because until now, the first 6 months, it's only on mother feeds. So the development of the child happens. So every growth from now on demands a lot of proteins, demands a lot of carbohydrates and fat and minerals for the development of the brain. The first 1,000 days of a baby's growth is very, very important, and every constituents which go and form this baby for the next 1,000 days is very important. So you choose foods which are traditional for your customs and locally available and which is acceptable by the baby. So that's called weaning.
Very interesting. And now coming to the next question. At what age of a baby should we start weaning?
There's no right tick mark time for the baby to start weaning. From Western world to Indian world. There are a lot of variations. But in India, we start around the 6 months, completion of 6 months. We start traditionally starting weaning, and they have a tradition to start weaning foods also. But if the baby's demand is very high, sometimes we see that, and there is a flow of mother milk coming down. Somewhere 5 months also is acceptable. But there are a lot of people who use weaning a very early, which is not right. Around 6 months sounds good for anyone, acceptable.
So, can any foods be used for weaning?
Not actually. We have to, because this is a transition from only pure breast milk to a first introduction of food. It is very important to choose what's the right cereal. Initially, we just start with simple carbohydrates, maybe just rice porridge or a ragi porridge, or simple vegetables like a potato or a sweet potato smash, or it can go into a carrot puree or apple steamed and puree. These are the initial weaning foods we would like to introduce. When this is digestible over few weeks, then you start adding it. There is a phases of weaning where the first phase, second phase, and the third phase. The first phase is the first 4 weeks, that's 6 to 7 months, where they are start with only completely smashed food. After 7 to the 9 month, we're giving granular texture to it, because once has our brain can texture the sensory food of it, so we have to give it a granular texture, taste, flavor. Slowly you start introducing, and 9 to 12 months you kind of introduce all the vegetables over a period. This is the right way. All the stages have been accommodated in the baby's eating table.
Also, I'm sure there are a lot of myths when it comes to weaning, where a lot of mothers think otherwise. So, could you throw light on what these myths are?
Yeah, we do come across a lot of myths which these grandparents carry, the parents of the today's world carry. There's a lot of these traditions. They said you can't give foods until you have cut your hair. you know it's a very common tradition in India. And there is another myth saying that you should start early. When the mother has stopped feeding, start off early. There are a few people who start weaning as early as 2.5 3, but that's going to be a lot of load on both the stomach and liver and the kidneys also. So a right time has to be chosen. And second thing is, you should only give one weaning per day. You should not give it in the late night, because it'll have a tummy upset. Sleeping and food has nothing to do with, they're two different entities. So feeding is something which is replacing the existing breast milk time formula to a traditional normal home traditional foods. So there's nothing to do with sleep. The other common is, like, once you start weaning, mother's breast milk should be withdrawn completely, or she will have a diarrhea. Nothing like that. This is a continuation. It's a phase where you have both. The mother can continue feeding until 18 to 20 months, and you do give this as a traditional meal where you have a breakfast, lunch, or a dinner. Those timings have been replaced by the home based foods, because there is a growth of the child. It the demand in terms of calcium, the demand in terms of iron, everything increases step by step. So just the milk will not be enough. So you have to demand and supply, you have to match with it. So you start introducing the weaning foods. So there's nothing to do with the breast milk stopping or giving extra over and above. This is a very common myths we come across. The list is very long if you really elaborate.
I'm sure. So, with this, is there any other take home message that you would like our mothers know?
It is simple. Keep the weaning food simple and see that you start at the right time
Right.
and give the right choice for your child. And I would prefer you make the homemade based foods. I know market and commercially a lot of viable foods are available, but nothing can beat home food.
Right. And for all the mothers out there who are watching this, in case you have any questions or doubts on what to wean for your babies, please visit Vividus Hospitals online or come here and meet with our pediatricians and our dietitians who can help you further. And with this, also, we would like to say is leave your comments below in case you have any doubts, and we would be extremely happy to clear them.